Senator Evan Bayh joins us, a Democrat of Indiana. He's a member of the Senate Banking Committee, which will host Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke tomorrow as well for his semi-annual report on the economy and monetary policy. He also chairs a subcommittee that held a hearing this morning on how banking regulators here and also abroad can coordinate rules to avoid another global credit crisis. So, Senator, welcome to the show. A lot on your plate. We appreciate you spending a couple of minutes with us. Let's talk first about the unemployment benefits. How key is this? You know, a lot of people have been saying this is one thing that we definitely need to do as far as stimulus for this economy.
Well, Matt, it will definitely help at the margins. Most economists agree that putting money into the hands of people who are going to spend it back into the economy immediately is one of the most stimulating things you can do. So it's a step in the right direction, but this alone is not going to turn the economy around. It's going to take a lot more in addition to this, but you know, this is a good thing.
Senator Bayh, I think most economists and observers would agree with you that it's going to take a lot more. Specifically, they say we need stimulus programs that actually create jobs, unlike the stimulus program we saw recently. What can we do to push that forward and actually create more jobs among the unemployed?
You know, Carol, I'd like to see us focus on the private sector and give incentives to businesses, small and large, to unleash some of the $2 trillion in capital they currently have in reserve. Give them incentives to start deploying that into new plant, new equipment, new hiring. I think that's one of the best things we can do. That, and to also establish a feeling of confidence on the part of businesses, buttressing demand with the step we took today as a part of that, but also making sure that there's been a lot of change going on, some of it necessary, but now we need to sort of be in the consolidation phase so that people know what the rules are, they know what they can count on, and they can start making some of these long-term investment and hiring decisions.
So do you mean actually tax credits, corporate tax credits, to bring that about?
Yes, incentives to businesses to both invest and to hire. I think that's one of the best things we can do. Private sector employment, you know, the government can help, but to have a long-term sustainable recovery, we need private sector growth, private sector employment, and we should, if the government can aug that through tax cuts, that's a good thing.
What about tax cuts more generally, Senator? Because a lot of people have been saying, whether they're pessimistic about it or optimistic about it, that raising taxes in the middle of a recession, it would be the wrong thing to do, and yet that could happen if the Bush tax cuts are allowed to expire.
Well, I agree with that. You know, we've got a short-term challenge and a longer-term challenge. In the short run, I think we need to emphasize growth above everything else. And so raising taxes right now would be the wrong thing to do because it would dampen consumer demand and lessen business investment. So no tax increases now. Once the economy has a self-sustaining amount of momentum, it's growing, it's going to continue to grow and move forward, at that point we need to pivot and start addressing the deficit, which is unsustainable and itself will dampen growth in the longer term. You can just look at Europe to see that. So right now, growth, no tax increases. Once we get the economy moving and at a sustainable level, then you got to address the deficit. Start with spending. Start with spending. There may need to be some revenue there as well.
Senator Bayh, got 30 seconds. Tomorrow, Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke goes before you guys. Lots to ask him about. The market, some optimism on speculation the Fed's going to take steps to spur lending. 20 seconds. Do you think the Fed needs to do more to encourage that? Just quickly, if you could.
Well, they're already keeping, as you pointed out, rates pretty close to zero. So they've got a pretty accommodating policy as it is. And I think it should remain that way, once again, until we have a self-sustaining recovery. You can be concerned about inflation longer term, but right now there really are no indicia that inflation is an immediate threat. We need to emphasize growth, growth, and growth.